Hi, everyone. Welcome to our show today. I have a very great topic that many of you have asked about on the topic of what does your location reveal, especially the location of your rashes. So we have our naturopath on the show today. Welcome, Ben.
Thanks, Abby.
No problem. Yeah, let's dive right into it. And we work with eczema clients on a daily basis. And so it's such a pleasure to have you on the show today, especially because you've worked with so many people who have gone through this. So yeah, let's get started with tell me more about where we should start about what the location of your eczema reveals.
For sure. So there are different eczema subtypes. We have the atopic, the seborrheic, the stasis dermatitis, and so on. So um, when we see eczema on the head and the neck, we commonly suspect fungal, especially when we see eczema on the nasolabial folds, on the eyebrows, and on the hairline and on the scalp. These are common signs of seborrheic dermatitis. So, secondly, besides seborrheic dermatitis, when we see eczema on the lower legs, so if it's scaly and if it's dry and if there's a darkened texture on the lower legs especially, we commonly suspect that it is stasis dermatitis. And then finally, if we see eczema on the fossa, the antecubital fossa, the arm, the elbow creases, and behind the knees, we suspect atopic dermatitis. And so, knowing the location of the eczema will tell us what could be the root cause. Is it fungal? Is it poor circulation? Is it a genetic allergic tendency? And then from there, in Eczema Conquerors, we then customize the treatment plan to match the root cause, and we achieve clear skin for you.
Thank you for sharing that, Ben. That's very helpful to know. Can you give some examples or case studies of clients where we helped them figure out what was going on based on the location of their rashes?
Yes, for sure. So let's talk about seborrheic dermatitis because seborrheic dermatitis or sebderm is one presentation that we see a lot in our clinical practice. So when clients come and say, Ben, my face feels so itchy, and when I put oils on my skin, I get worse. That is one big clue of sebderm because oils feed the yeast. And the clients may say, oh, when I consume sugars, I get a flare up because sugars also feed the yeast. So whenever we hear these presentations, and oh, to just add on, one other important differentiating clue between sebderm and atopic derm is that sebderm commonly feels oily on the face. So atopic derm is more dry, but sebderm is more oily. So clients will say, my face feels so oily and itchy. And when when we then differentiate that this is a seborrheic dermatitis condition, we then go for a few different treatment goals. Number one, balance blood sugar. Number two, kill the yeast on the skin. Number three, also kill the yeast internally because we commonly find that when we run GI maps, there is also elevated Candida albicans or Candida species in the gut. Number four, we also ask clients to change the pillows because the pillows, when we lie down, the yeast can also transfer between the pillows and the skin. And also number five, we always focus on the skin pH. If the pH is too low, sorry, if it's too high, then an alkaline pH favors the proliferation of yeast on the skin. So these are the five things that we commonly focus on, and we achieve good results for our clients.
Thank you, Ben. That's very helpful to know. And yeah, I myself also struggled with really bad seborrheic dermatitis as well. And at one point, my hairline was oozing, and I had flakes the size of coins on my scalp. So, yeah, thank you for sharing that. I no longer have it anymore, but it a large population. I actually read that about 50% of the population has it at some point. And yeah, so Ben, let's talk about other locations that you've seen as well and some case studies with our clients.
Yes, and Abby, I think if I may just quickly echo a point that you just shared. You shared how you had coin-sized flakes, and that is one big differentiating factor between sebderm and other kinds of eczema. Because sebderm, people see big flakes, and these are oily flakes that can commonly be yellowish in color or golden in color. So that's such an important clue, and therefore in Eczema Conquerors, one of the things that we do is that we listen for these clues and then we then differentiate the eczema types. And uh, I think that many a time we often go for the gut, and more gut. I think the gut is important, but I also think that there are other aspects that we should look at in a more balanced perspective. The nervous system, the gut, the liver, the adrenals, the lymphatics, and so we always take a balanced approach and look at all the terrain and not just the gut. Um, if I may now address your question, so stasis dermatitis, a few things that we a few signs and symptoms that we use to differentiate stasis dermatitis. Number one, the area is on the lower leg, and you'll find it on the calves and it extends down to the ankles. Number two, we will ask our clients to put 3 fingers and place it on top of the ankle bone and firmly press it down for around 3 seconds and release it. And if we see pitting, then that is a sign of poor venous return. So above your ankle bone, 3 fingers, you press, and you see a dent on the legs, and then that is a sign of the fluid accumulating there. And so when the fluid pools and accumulates in the area, the tissue or the skin loses oxygenation and becomes dry and itchy. So anything else? It's also, and the color looks a bit more darkened because of the lack of oxygenation, and therefore the whole lower legs get stasis dermatitis. And if I may move on to the third eczema type that we commonly see, and this we're all familiar with, is the atopic eczema types. So the location is always on the elbow folds, behind the knees, on the neck sometimes, and there's often a more genetic component for that. So commonly, the family members would have eczema, and the clients would also have asthma or rhinitis, itchy eyes, runny nose, and this is more atopic presentation.
Thank you, Ben. Yes, many children go through this as well.
Yes, for sure, for sure. And so I think that the first step in treating eczema successfully is to deduce what is the root cause of it. Is it, again, number one, seborrheic? If it's seborrheic, we go for the Malassezia yeast. This Malassezia yeast is a very pesky microorganism that can cause the skin to be sensitized to it. And therefore, the skin develops what we call IgE antibodies to the Malassezia yeast. And so we kill the yeast, but we also reduce the excess oil secretion that would feed the yeast. So remember, sebderm and oils are not good friends. Sorry, sebderms and oils are good friends. So if we reduce the oils, we then reduce the sebderm. So our approach in EC for sebderm is to, number one, kill the yeast. Number two, balance the diet to reduce the sugars so as to reduce the blood sugar, and therefore we reduce the yeast proliferation. Number three, we also use herbs to balance the stress response, because if we're always stressed, our blood sugar also spikes. And then I will now discuss the approach that we do for stasis dermatitis or lower leg eczema. So Abby, I recall we had a client. When she first saw us, both of her legs were inflamed and very thickened. Um, and now after 6 months, her legs are clear.
Yes, we've
And
had many great success stories, so it's always very nice to hear when when clients get better. And yeah, I think we regularly hear clients improve pretty much every single week, so it's very nice to hear all the time.
yes, and for her, what we did was we focused a lot on what we call microcirculation. Because when the skin tissues receive more nutrients and if we enhance microcirculation, then we can improve or even resolve stasis dermatitis. And we commonly find stasis dermatitis in clients who are more senior in their years, like above 60, above 70. But there is hope. And now this lady, now she is she goes for long walks, and then she goes cycling, and and her skin doesn't bother her anymore. So for our approach in Eczema Conquerors, we use herbs and nutrients to support microcirculation. Number two, strengthen the veins, because if the veins, if our blood vessels are stronger, then the fluid doesn't ooze out and cause a lot of edema and a lot of like swelling in the area. And number three, we repair the skin barrier. We use good fats, we use zinc, we use vitamin A, we use herbs to enhance the skin barrier and normalize the inflammation.
This is very helpful to know. Thank you for so much for sharing that. For those who are just jumping on, we are currently interviewing the naturopath on our team, Ben, who's worked with many of our clients, and we've seen a lot of success, especially with being able to figure out what the location of their eczema is showing. And so, yeah, it's really helpful to hear what different locations represent. Are there any other locations you want to share about, Ben?
Yeah, so one other location is when we see eczema on the lips, that can be a sign of salicylate intolerance. So we see this a lot in our clinical practice. Clients will say that, oh, if I eat certain foods, then I get a lip rash here. It can be contact dermatitis for sure, but it can also be a salicylate intolerance sign. So salicylates are very rich in foods like oranges, kiwis, avocados, what else? Chocolates. So I recall, Abby, we had one baby who came to us, and she had done a lot of testing and seen a lot of practitioners before us. And I believe she was 7 months old or 10 months old at the time. And then within 3 weeks of the low salicylate diet, her skin cleared up. She had two huge inflamed oozing patches on her cheeks, and it cleared up within 3 weeks. And now she remains clear. And for all of our listeners, I want to just give you assurance that when we approach diets in Eczema Conquerors, I promise you, I'll not make you eat gluten-free, dairy-free, low salicylate, low histamine, no sugar, no dairy, no, and life will be quite sad if we eliminate all of our favorite foods. Our approach is to take a pragmatic approach and to take a measured approach, which means that um, foods bring us joy and comfort, and you can enjoy some of the food still, but we'll reduce the quantities and we will use some nutrients and herbs to mitigate the impact of foods. But um, I don't believe in strict elimination diets because the stress that it causes can be a much bigger eczema trigger than the foods itself.
That's a very good point. And also, I think one other really big thing as well is that one thing we really do is that the location of your eczema can also really show if you're going through a bacterial issue or a fungal issue. And I feel like some doctors miss that. So, yeah, could you clarify a bit on that too?
Yes. So the location of a bacterial rash can be quite generalized. It can be anywhere. But one big differentiating factor is if you see a golden crust or yellow crust, this is a major sign of a bacterial infection. In eczema, there is a bacteria called Staph aureus, Staphylococcus aureus. The word aureus means gold in Latin, I believe. So If you see a golden crust or yellow crust, think bacteria, think staph. And we have had so much success, Abby, in our clients when we decolonize staph aureus. And I recall this client, she had full body eczema for decades, and then by just doing a simple vinegar spray, it improved by a lot. So staph is a major thing. The second thing that, or the second um, eczema infection that we see less commonly but common enough is eczema herpeticum. And herpeticum can often present on around the lips, on the face, and it comes as like these vesicles, like these bumps, and you can see some like fluid inside. And so, if I may summarize what we discussed, eczema on the, sorry, you were saying something?
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, yeah, this is something I went through a lot, and I used to get it every single month. And yeah, it's not fun, but it's more of a viral infection as well.
For sure, for sure. And therefore, if I may summarize what we have discussed, location-wise, eczema around the lips, think salicylate or think contact dermatitis. Eczema on the nasolabial folds, on the eyebrows, on the hairline, the scalp, think seborrheic dermatitis. And eczema along the armpit area, along the groin, the inner thigh area, think lymphatics because these are very rich in lymph nodes. Eczema on the neck, on the sides especially, this area is very rich in the cervical lymph nodes. So think lymphatics. Eczema around the belly button, we commonly suspect fungus or bacteria. These areas are, the belly button is the area where bacteria and fungus love to colonize. Eczema along the, for females, when there's eczema between the breast and the skin along the lower folds there, we think fungus because it is a sweaty area. And eczema around the groin area, again, very fungal. Eczema behind the knees, think atopic dermatitis. Eczema on the lower legs, and if it pits, if you press three fingers and it pits, you see a dent if when you press three fingers. Think of stasis dermatitis. And so, in summary, there are many eczema types: stasis, seborrheic, atopic, bacterial infections, herpeticum, lymphatics. Oh, one more thing: eczema that rises up. If we see eczema on the upper body, on the neck, on the face, and clients will always fan themselves like this. They say, I feel so warm, I feel so warm. Think of liver heat. So in Chinese medicine, there's a term called liver fire. And when our liver is under stress, our liver does so much. It does detoxification work. It metabolizes, cleanses the blood. And so when our livers are under stress, we often find a rising heat and eczema more on the upper body. So think of liver, and we do some liver support in that case. So I hope this has given a overview of the different eczema types for our listeners today.
Yes, it's very helpful for sure. And can you talk about the neck and how it can be related to a pattern you've seen a lot in terms of stress and lymphatics?
Yes, yes. So the neck is so rich in lymph nodes along the sides here. The sides here, we have the cervical lymph nodes on the sides. And so when we see eczema on the neck, and sometimes it creeps out to the face even, we love to use lymphatic herbs to move the lymph. So think of it this way. If your river cannot move properly, it's stuck and the toxins accumulate, and the skin would manifest the toxins on behalf of the lymphatics. So therefore, eczema on the neck, think lymphatics. And also the second possible reason could be fungal. Because many clients who come to us who have been on Dupixent already, when they come to us, a common side effect of Dupixent is head and neck dermatitis. So think fungal, think lymphatics if you see neck eczema.
Yes, and I also remember mentioning as well when we have clients that big pattern you see is they also tend to be very stressed for some reason. And yeah, I think this is something that I went through as well.
Yes. So for our practice, we combine both the biochemistry, the herbal pharmacology, the nutritional biochemistry with also a more energetic perspective when we need to. And even though many people may say, "Oh, energetics, this sounds very voodoo. This is like airy fairy," but I believe in energetics because we see results in our clinic using homeopathy, using flower essences. There are visible results, and our clients share that with us. So the throat area, from Ayurvedic medicine, from Indian traditional medicine, the throat chakra is our truth. And many clients who feel that they can't express emotions, we commonly see the neck area being affected because it's stuck here. And so the nervous system has a big part to play in the neck eczema. When clients feel that they can't speak the truth, when clients feel that their emotions are being suppressed, when they feel that others are making them feel that they can't speak, then we commonly see eczema on the neck area also.
Yeah, it's very interesting how personality and emotions play a role in it as well.
Yes, and if I may add on one more location that we commonly see, if we see eczema everywhere, like if there's no area unturned, we suspect two things. TSW, because in TSW, when someone is on steroids for a long time, steroids constrict the blood vessels. And then when they stop it, the blood vessels dilate, and they dilate to even larger than it was before. And then the blood gushes through the blood vessels, and blood is hot, blood is red, the skin turns hot, the skin turns red, and then the whole body becomes flushed. Even in areas where the steroids were not applied, it flushes everywhere. And there's oozing, there's heat, there's redness, there's chills, there's thermoregulation difficulties. We suspect TSW if we see everywhere being red. Also, Abby, one interesting thing that I've seen quite a bit in our practice is also I've seen a connection between grief and full body eczema. And so when our clients lose a loved one, their parents or a very close family member, we see this quite a bit where the eczema just expresses everywhere. And when the grief calms down, the skin also calms down. So there's a huge nervous system component in the skin.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I think that happened to me because when I went through my first breakup as a teenager, after it happened, my whole body broke out in rashes, like everywhere, and it was the worst it had ever been. So I believe that because I was going through so much trauma and grief that needed to be addressed as well.
Yes, and Abby, if I may add on also, when my own family member passed on around 3 or 4 years ago, at that time my skin blew up everywhere. My whole body was flaking, was oozing. It's almost as though our skin weeps for us. So yeah, I went through the same situation as you when my own very close family member passed away.
Thank you for sharing that. And I think one thing that really differentiates our practice as well from others is that I think a big part that is really addressed is the nervous system component and really helping to help someone calm down. Because I notice when in a lot of the teas that you give in the our client protocols, for some reason the teas seem so mild, like the herbal teas, and it's never the same teas because everyone goes through very different circumstances, so it's very customized based on each person. But for some reason, so many of them come back to us saying that they feel so much better and like they feel calmer and they feel like their skin has gotten better too.
Yes, so um, one of the different things that we offer in Eczema Conquerors is that Abby and I have been through eczema ourselves. And if I may share my own journey, I had seen countless naturopaths, and these are good naturopaths, and I respect them greatly. One difficulty I face is that I flared up a lot with many people's protocols, and I couldn't take like even like normal doses of herbs. I'll flare up. And also number two, what I found was that the I found that I lost hope easily because no one was there to hold my hand. And with eczema, every day, every minute is a suffering. Every minute we suffer. And knowing that there's someone there to go to every week and to hear us and to be accountable to and to hold our hand on the journey is so important. So that's the second thing that I find that with Eczema Conquest, there is the hand holding and there's the comfort and the support because there is the we walk with you on every step of the way. And so number three is also that with for our protocols, we don't just look at the gut. It's not just gut. And the gut, the nervous system, heavy metals, parasites, candida, adrenal dysfunction, lymphatics, liver support, leaky gut, impaired skin barrier, lack of good fats. There are so many different triggers of eczema, and it's not just gut. And so I think Abby also, oh, and also hormones. Yeah, hormones are a major part. Many clients come to us saying, I flare before my periods, I flare before ovulation. And this is a major trigger for eczema. The estrogen and the progesterone dips and spikes can trigger histamine releases and can trigger skin flare-ups also. Oh, and not to forget mole. Mole is a major trigger also. So at home, they get worse. When they're out of the house, they get better. It's a major sign of mole in the home.
Yeah, definitely. Those are all really great root causes that you brought up, and it's very helpful because I think many dermatologists and doctors, or even certain naturopaths, only focus on one area and hyper focus on one area. Like, for example, many naturopaths or holistic practitioners only focus on the gut and say that it's candida or bad bacteria, but like you mentioned, it's so much more than that. And many doctors I find also hyper focus as well on more of the topical solutions that mainly um, I find suppress the symptoms. And so our goal is to create longer lasting change. And so actually, if you're interested in learning more about what we do, or even in working with our team, or also with Ben here, you can click the link in the description, and or either head to my website eczemaconquerors.com, and you'll be able to see on the menu bar you can book a breakthrough call with us. And so we'd love to share more about how we work with clients and how we can help you find the missing gaps and help you unpack your eczema story, and how we can help you with the right tests and customize something for your case as well.
Yes, and if I may wrap up, let me share this screen that guides our approach in eczema treatment. So let me share this. Does my screen come up? Do you see my screen come up, Abby?
Not yet, but we will wait and see.
Let me see the slide is showing. It's not
Okay.
showing.
No?
Is it showing?
Oh, you know what? Let me try to fix it so I can get it to show.
Sure. No
Hold
problem.
on 1 second.
So for our listeners, I'm sharing this hierarchy of eczema treatment approaches screen, and this will show you how we approach eczema from a very holistic perspective, and it's not just gut. It's a nervous system, it's a liver, it's the lymphatics, it's the skin barrier, it's the nervous system, it's the adrenals. Therefore, there are many causes, and it's not just gut. In fact, when clients come to us having done the GI map and then having to do antimicrobials and they flare up, we find that that having a more balanced approach, whether we do guts or lymphatics or liver work, that makes the skin clear up. And so not all cases is a gut-driven trigger.
Thank you for sharing that. That's really helpful to hear for sure. And yeah, I think it's very rare to find practitioners that will always address everything, like a well-rounded approach, because as you know, we also work with many clients who have worked with many eczema practitioners before who specialize in eczema, whether they're eczema naturopaths or nutritionists. And a lot of times we see their protocols as well. And we found that sometimes it focuses on a lot of detoxing and killing. So, killing of bacteria. And so that could be one reason why they flare a lot and why they come to us as well. And yeah, I just find that a lot of times when um, in this approach, by taking a well-rounded approach to really review the different blood tests, markers with a functional approach and also a functional lens, and also just looking at the skin topically and being able to um, differentiate whether it's Staph aureus or CSW or eczema, and also addressing the nervous system, as you mentioned earlier, helping to calm down their emotions, work on healing just a lot of stuck emotions. And I know you also said sometimes you feel like a therapist because it's like a therapy session for a client too. And so yeah, we really take a well-rounded approach by addressing everything from thyroid to heavy metals to adrenal and cortisol and stress levels and emotions, and just yeah, really 360 balance and holistic approach.
Yeah, and also I think that that for us having walked through the journey before, having tried everything before, I think that having a practitioner who has been through eczema is it really adds a different dimension to the treatments, because we we ensure that we tailor the treatments and not have a strong detox and cause a flare, and we go gentle and get good results at the same time. So I think in summary, there are a few areas that we look at, or a few areas that we may be different from a more general natural medicine practitioners. Number one, we have been through it ourselves, and therefore from that angle we look at things differently. Number two, we look at the gut, the liver, the lymphatics, the nervous system, the adrenals. We look at it from a broad perspective, and we address all the areas. And number three, we go at a pace that is not too aggressive. We are gentle, and we make sure that we don't over detox the body. And number four, there is the accountability and the hand holding through the journey. With Eczema Conquerors, we have our weekly office hours where clients can discuss or update myself and Abby, and the group coaching calls every week, and the mindfulness coaching. So there, we are with you every step of the way, and we hold your hand, and we also do up your treatment plans from a perspective of someone who knows eczema and who has been through eczema, severe eczema full body, and who has successfully conquered eczema.
Yep, that's so true, because our goal is that you never walk through this alone, and especially because both of us have gone through this where it felt so lonely, and you just don't want to go through this and feel like there's no one with you. So yeah, our goal is to give you the connections and strategy to equip you and empower you on your journey to feel better.
For sure. And yeah, this sounds good. And I think I when in summary for today, location matters, and no two eczemas are alike. So we, for your eczema, um, assess whether is it atopic, seborrheic, stasis, is it could it be a lymphatic issue, could it be a salicylate issue, could it be a liver heat, liver fire issue, and all the locations that we discussed just now will tell you what the root cause may be.
Yes, and Ben, how can someone identify if their practitioner is able to do it correctly? Because we work with a lot of people um, who have seen us and their practitioner has not been able to do that. So yeah, how can they spot if their practitioner knows how to do it?
Yeah, for sure. I think firstly, I want to first say that I think every naturopath, every practitioner um, is good. I mean, they all are well trained, and everyone has every practitioner is good. That said, I think having lived through eczema ourselves, we know the intricacies, and that adds the different layer to our protocols. And so, for number one, to answer your question, Abby, number one is that if you notice a flare up early on in your treatment plans, and if you're getting worse and worse and worse, then that is one red flag. Number two, if you flare up and if your practitioner says, "Oh, just press on, no, just detox," and after a while your flares will get better, that is to me is one red flag, because I had been there before too, and I was told, "Just hold on, it'll be over." But I waited for months and months and months and just did not clear until I changed the approach, and I helped myself through a different protocol. So, and number three is that if you're told that, oh, all eczema is the same, we just go for the guts. And that's not the case, actually. We have had many clients who have done gut tests and come to us, and they have addressed everything in the gut, but they got worse and worse. And so, do they need a binder to bind to the toxins that are being killed by the antimicrobials? Do they need some lymphatic work? Are they pooping every day? And how's the stress levels? And are there other triggers like mold in the house and so on? So these are some of the common things to assess whether is your practitioner able to differentiate and able to pull back an aggressive treatment and avoid a Herxheimer or detox reaction. Hi, Melly. Thanks. This is a very good question. I love your question. So, I have been seeing a lot of eczema on eyes in my clinical practice. So, from the Chinese medicine perspective, um, around the eyes is a liver picture, liver heat picture. So, I commonly find that when there is emotional stress, late nights, emotional stress, spicy foods, this can cause a lot of liver heat. And the eyes and the liver are very closely involved from the Chinese medicine perspective. So reduce the heat in the body, support the liver, and then we can improve the eyes. But now my client is cleared. Her eyes she had two big round patches here and they were oozing out fluid. And before she saw us, she was on antibiotics and on steroids. And then we supported her lymphatics, her liver. And now, at first, the redness here went down, and there were two dark patches left. And then after around 2 or 3 more weeks, the dark patches had then become lightened and merged with the skin, and now her face is clear. So adjust the liver and lymphatics. And we have many ways to do that. So, and clients will ask me, "Oh, Ben, what do I take for liver? Or what do I take for lymphatics?" The short answer is there are many, many different herbs and supplements, and therefore I have to tailor it based on your constitution. Are you a more hot constitution? Are you a more cold constitution? Are you a more damp constitution? What liver herbs do we use? Do we use milk thistle, Chisandra, artichoke, French tree? Do we use fumitory? So there are a range of liver herbs, and each herb has a differentiating factor in prescribing. And for lymphatics also, Melly, lymphatics, we use cleavers, do we use calendula, do we use the unda drops, do we use homeopathics, do we use pokeroot? So again, many herbs to use, and therefore in our training, we are trained to differentiate and to prescribe the herbs in a safe and in a personalized manner for you.
Yes, and the herbs are also tailored to your not just your constitution but also your personality as well. So I really love that aspect, and thank you. That's a really good question. And maybe we can address one more thing too, because we had a client who he had seborrheic dermatitis, and usually when it's around the um, on the scalp, it is fungal. But he said that he tried the fungal shampoo and it wasn't helping, and then he saw yellow crusts, and so that's when we were able to pivot and really help address the bacteria instead. So I really like that. The being able to spot if it is a bacterial or fungal issue, um, I believe has helped our clients achieve a lot of success. So, did you want to talk a bit about that too, about differentiating between both,
Yes.
and how to
So
find how to know if your practitioner even knows how to tell between both as well.
yes. So I think between bacterial and fungal, number one is that the fungal rashes tend to be circular in nature, and the bacterial rashes are not circular. It's like very like dispersed and diffuse. For fungal rashes, we commonly see a very well defined, a well circumscribed border, but bacterial rashes don't have that. So that is the shape of the lesion. The color of it. For fungal rashes, the color is commonly red, but not golden. For bacterial rashes, it's commonly golden in color. So the color differentiates it for us also. Number three, for fungal rashes, they tend, not always, but they can be more oily, especially the seborrheic dermatitis. It's very oily. For bacterial, it's more wet and oozing, and more crusty. Number four, the size of the flakes. For fungal rashes, the flakes can be bigger, like as Abby shared, how they were like coin-size flakes. For bacterial rashes, the flakes are more like snowflakes, like very like small, fine flakes. And so these are the four main things that we differentiate it with. Hi, I see your comment. And you're glad to be here for your 16-year-old daughter. She's having severe TSW. Yeah, TSW is a very debilitating condition, and we treat that commonly in our practice in Eczema Conquerors. And so one thing that we notice a lot is that different when someone comes to us with eczema, there one part may be fungal, one part may be bacterial, one part may be TSW. So the different there are different root causes for different locations of their eczema also. So we had a client who had full body eczema. When we cleared their fungal issues, the head cleared up. Then when we address the gut, then the hands improve. When we address the circulation, the legs improve. So that we must peel each layer of the onion gradually, and we see different parts of the body improving. And so to address your comments, I first want to just say that TSW is a very very tough time for anybody. And I think as for yourself, as a mom, you're a great mom and you're doing a great job. I find that that moms give so much to their kids who go through TSW, and please also do look after your own health, because as caregivers it's a tough journey, and I feel for you. So for the hair falling out during TSW is common because of the inflammation in the hair follicles and the scalp. What we find, Florida, I'm not. So for Eczema Conquerors, we support clients worldwide and including in the US. And so when we prescribe any supplements or herbs, you receive it within a few days through our online dispensary. So you can reach out to us and arrange a discovery call. And we have many clients in the US and in Florida, and we can support you with that. And for the hair falling, we do a few things for that. For hair fall, we find that nutrients like zinc, like selenium, magnesium are useful for that. And also topically, we do find that, and again, this is not a medical suggestion, because I don't know your case, I don't know your daughter's case well, but sorry, having some diluted rosemary oil can be helpful to reduce the hair fall and to improve the scalp circulation. Yeah, so very welcome. And we love your questions. Feel free to share more questions, and we'll answer them for you.
Thank you for sharing that. And if you want to learn more, to see how we can help you, you're always welcome to book a complimentary call with our team. The link is in the description, or you can head to eczemaconquerors.com, and there's a link at the top where you can book a complimentary breakthrough call with our team, so we can help you find the missing gaps and put together the pieces of the puzzle together for you to help support you. And yeah, we'd love to help help address any concerns and questions that you have as well. And everyone on our team has experienced it, especially for the eczema advisors on our team who are on those calls. So, yeah, we would love to support you. And we did have a client that I shared about in the past, and also in our other podcasts that we did together. So if you want to search the podcast on what the difference is between TSW, staph, and eczema, Ben also did a good talk there and gave a lot of differentiating factors on how to differentiate between all of those. And one quick story is that um, there's been instances where we've had clients who think they have TSW, and many of our eczema clients do think they have TSW, but they don't actually have TSW. Many times they have a staph infection, and so when our team has been able to support them and calm down the staph and address that, their skin has actually improved. And so sometimes uh, people with TSW come wrapped in bandages, but or wrapped with a towel that we've seen before. But by addressing the staph, it can be so helpful and a big game changer. And that's what a lot of our protocols address. And so, yeah, I'm very thankful for this team here, because everyone just cares so much, and we all want to see you healed and to see all of you find relief.
And if I may add on to what you shared, Abby, I recall this client. He was I think 15 or 16 years old when he saw us, and when he first saw us, he was having oozing, and he had a towel around his neck during the first consultation, and he was all red everywhere, and he was oozing on the neck. So he had this towel all around the neck, and then by the second session, the towel was gone, and I was so happy. His mom was happy. We were happy. His mom was overjoyed. And fast forward 5 months later, he's now going to boarding school and starting university, and with no more towel. And his skin is better, the redness is gone, the oozing is gone. And these are the stories that we hear, and it makes us so happy. And I think one of the other things so if we fast forward to what happens months after healing, the clients will ask us, oh, must I eat this diet forever? Must I take your supplements forever? The short answer is no. Clients can eat their foods again, of course, in moderation, but we see clients having gluten and dairy in smaller amounts, and they're fine, no issues. So you can enjoy your birthday parties, enjoy your gatherings with your friends, and join your colleagues and family members for a dinner, eat some birthday cake, and they're okay. Because we have built up the terrain and built up the body to tolerate these better. And also, the supplements, the clients can taper them off and stop them, and they're fine. So our job is to bring your body to a better place and let it walk itself from there, and not have you pop supplements for your whole life. That's not our goal. So there is hope, and we see success stories. And Sandy, hi Sandy. Your question is, what can you do for eczema on my eyelids? Can't seem to get rid of it. Yeah, so eyelid eczema, there are staph aureus. So I'm told that I could have staph aureus if my eyelids weren't clear, but doctor said it is not staph. Okay, so there can be two potential reasons for the eyelid eczema. The first one is that we going back to, I think, earlier Melly's question. Melly asked about eye eczema, and so eyelid eczema can also be because of liver heat from the Chinese medicine perspective. And so if we cool the liver down, support the liver, we do see improvements in the eyelid eczema. Number two, and this is a trigger that can be missed often. There is this thing called Demodex mites. And Demodex mites can be a reason for eyelid eczema. These mites are microscopic mites that live on our skin, and we can't see it under the naked eye. But these mites, if you look at under a microscope, you'll find these mites crawling around our eyelids, and they feed on the sebum on the eyelids. So we would look at ways to reduce the Demodex mites. Demodex, the Demodex mites. And so some of the common signs of Demodex mites infection or overgrowth is like you feel the eye area is like scaling, the skin is peeling off, it's very itchy. And so we have various natural ways to reduce these mites and to clear the eye eczema.
Yes, thank you so much. That's so helpful. And yeah, we had so many great questions today. I think we're near the end of our time. So, any last words to add on your end?
Yeah, so I think if I may just share that there is hope. And oh, we have one more question. Can you discuss how to find out what is the actual skin issue? I know my daughter has eczema, but is there a way to verify if it's just eczema, TSW, or staph? Yeah, great question. So there are two ways. Okay, a few ways. Number one is we by just asking questions, we can actually get a good picture from there. So no, and please don't say sorry because your questions are important to us and you matter to us, and so these are good questions. So through if in the consultation I'll ask questions like when did it start, which area is it located, what makes it worse, what makes it better, is it oozing, what's the color of it, is it, do you feel hot, do you feel cold, do you feel chilly, what's the color of the ooze. And so all these questions help me to assess, is it eczema, TSW, or staph, or is it eczema and TSW and staph? It can be all three at the same time also. And therefore, we have questions that we ask to differentiate that. Over the years, we have refined our questions and refined our protocols to assess what it could be. So you don't always need to do expensive testing. In fact, for staph infections, sometimes some doctors will do a skin swab or a skin culture and sensitivity, but it doesn't always pick up staph or fungus for that matter. So we we use good questioning. We may do a swab sometimes or refer you to do a swab, and we may refer you to do some blood tests also. So for staph infections, for example, a CBC, a complete blood count, may sometimes show elevated white blood cells, neutrophils, lymphocytes, which are indicators of infections. If we see high eosinophils in the full blood count, we suspect allergies or parasites. And so these are some of the ways that we differentiate eczema versus TSW versus staph.
And thank you for so many good questions, everyone. We really appreciate your time. Yeah, since we're near the end, any last words that you want to add before we head off?
Yeah, so I wish to just conclude that there is hope. And even though right now things may seem bleak, but then when we see our clients get better, our clients who can now go cycling again, who can now play in a pool with their children, who can eat at birthday parties without feeling fearful, who can start university, start school again, and enjoy their friends, enjoy their studies, who can go for long walks without having the leg eczema causing mobility issues. All these warm our hearts, and we feel so grateful to be to do what we do. And so there is hope, and there is and we look forward to helping you. So yeah, feel free to book in a discovery call, and yeah, and we look forward to good days ahead to support your skin.
Yes, definitely. And thank you everyone for attending. We hope that wherever you are on your healing journey, that your doctor or dermatologist or practitioner is able to help you. And if you feel that you want a second opinion or further guidance, we work with many clients around the world. From our youngest we've worked with is 3 months old, all the way to 60 plus years old. And it's just such a pleasure to see people get better and to see them heal. And yeah, we just, our passion is just to see you heal and see you feel better as well. And I think because both of us have been through this, we just care so much about wanting to see you feel better. And our goal is to be able to help find the missing gaps for you, and help spot what we can add on as well. And so yeah.
If I may add on something, I think in closing, um, oftentimes clients will ask us, how is Eczema Conquerors different from seeing my usual naturopath? Because like, what do we offer that's different? And so, and clients will say, why can't I just see my naturopath to, for my skin? You can for sure, but there are a few differences between EC and seeing a practitioner solo. So number one, the team support. You have Abby, myself, a mindfulness coach, and number two, you also have the the frequency of support is greater. You have our weekly calls for myself with myself and Abby. You have mindfulness coaching. You have check-in calls, and that keeps us feeling accompanied on the journey. And number three is that so clients often say, in terms of cost, why is the cost different between Eczema Conquerors and my own naturopath? Because of the reason being that the support we give is much more comprehensive, and therefore this would then account for the differences in the cost, of course. And clients who have tried everything and who then see us, they realize that the cost that they spend having tried everything comes up more than the cost of the program itself. So for our program, we find our clients heal within many clients. Of course, we can't say all because we're all different, but many clients heal within 3 to 6 months, and then they can then move on their lives and move on with life, and the eczema can be left behind, and life can proceed normally again.
Thank you so much for adding that on. And yes, our goal is to support you. So, yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to book a complimentary breakthrough call. The link is in the description, or comments, or either you can head to eczemaconquerors.com and click the breakthrough call link at the menu bar. And yeah, we'd love to support you and see you feel better as well. And if not, if you're on your current journey, we also wish you all the best, and hope that this information was helpful for you. Thank you so much again, and I hope all of you have a great day.